What is going on, members of the Shy Guy Squad? It's been a long time coming, but we are here with week 1 of the UBL against my man Hera, otherwise known as HeraHorde. Link to my team if you want to know what I brought. Links in the top description, poke a paste. Link to Hera, of course, in the description as well. Be sure to check him out. Good pal of mine. And there's also a link to the doc if you guys want to see the draft and stuff like that. So without further ado, let's just get into the game, because that's what you guys are here for. So I'm challenged by my man's Pokemon trainer J Ricky as he leads off with his Masto, the Gigalith, if everybody remembers that meme, and I bring out my elemental hero core, my Zygarde, which I've finally been able to draft, and I'm excited to finally use this thing to, you know, test around a little bit, see what I can do with it. So this game I brought Coil E, I believe it was Coil E-Speed, the 1000 Arrows Crunch. It might have been Coil Sub. But I'm going to go for 1000 arrows right here just to scout the damage off of the Celebi, and I can see from that damage that this thing is fairly offensive, no defensive bulk whatsoever anyway. If not, it's like 12 HP or something like that. And my opponent here reveals the HP Ice, which I did expect, and I stayed in just because I had a Figgy Berry, which I thought maybe I could get back the HP in which that he did to me. But that was sadly not the case, so I'm gonna go for Crunch, and I don't think I had E-Speed, because if I did I probably would have swung into him, as he is completely uninvested in the HP and the defense. But he goes for another HP Ice here, and this is where I didn't pay attention to this in the game itself, but the fact that the Celebi took damage there before me indicates that he is Choice Scarf, something I never noticed in the game, so that was a little bit of an oversight on my part, but it doesn't play a massive part of this game that he is Scarf, but that's something that I'm going to have to look out for in the future, especially in this situation where it was basically handed to me because of Masto the Gigalith's Sandstream. So I'm going to go into Zygarde because Zygarde is my instant answer to Gigalith. It scares it out every time, and I can do whatever the hell I feel like in front of it, as there is not a whole lot that Gigalith can do back to my Zygarde. So right here I believe I go for a Coil because I found my free switch in, and I do decide that in this situation I find that like scouting out what type of Vaporeon this is was more important than trying to keep my Zygarde alive, which hindsight is 2020 if that was worth it or not. But I do go for a 1000 arrows here, and I do find out with the damage you guys are about to see that this is a very physically defensive, probably max bold Vaporeon. But sadly we're gonna lose Zygarde, and hurts my soul, but we are gathered here today to honor a fallen comrade. Rest in peace. So sadly our Zygarde gets swept up by the wave known as Aquarius' Ice Beam, and may his soul rest in peace until probably next game, because, you know, we'll probably see it again. But I'm going to bring in Bubble Man here, and I'm like, oh, you think you got me because all the water absorbed Vaporeon, haha, I got Substitute. Oh, you thought Toxic was going to get me? You must have me silly, my friend. Because I brought this Suicune as a counter to Vaporeon, more so his defensive checks in general. So he goes into Powerpuff, the what's this thing called again? Celebi? Yeah, that's the Pokemon. This thing is called Celebi. So I make a slight misplay here, I guess. Again, this is a second kind of like mistake I did in the game, looking back at it anyway. So what I'm going to do right now, instead of clicking Scald and trying to just probably knock this thing out, I am actually just going to go for another substitute and trying to like let Toxic knock this thing out, or at least to the best of my ability. And this this play that happened right here, it actually comes back to bite me a little bit. Unfortunately, this comes back to bite me because my opponent can preserve the Celebi right here. And I'm going to go for Protect, you know, trying to stall out the last turn. So that play is going to come back to bite me, the fact that I left that Celebi alive. And Hera is finally going to unleash his great beast, known as Mega Heracross. That is his mascot, so mascot pick has been released. And I'm about to go for a Scald, you know. It's his Heracross. Can I get the burn? That'd be sweet. Make this thing completely neutralize this thing as a threat. But I do not get it. He reveals Bullet Seed, which, as you guys are about to see from damage, it takes 2 Bullet Seeds to break my sub, which, I mean, that's fair enough, I guess. But you'll see from the damage after the substitute that this Heracross isn't all that strong. as I go from 151 to 125. I took 26 points of damage per bullet seed, which that is a surprisingly low amount from what I was expecting anyway to come out of this Heracross. So I know right here, I think I made a little bit of a risky move in staying in. I don't think I did. I may have not. No, I did not. I played this game like yesterday, I think, 2 days ago. So it's a little bit of a hindsight. But yeah, I switched into Miltank. You know, I thought it was Sap Sipper. Turns out I was Thick Fat because Hera has a Blacephalon on his draft that he didn't bring. Which, looking back at it, I understand why he didn't. But at the same time, I felt like it was a good bring. So I thought Thick Fat Miltank was going to be my answer to it, in case. But I see now I could have brought Sap Sipper and I would have been in a much better situation, as I just would have been like a +1 Miltank right now at full HP. So that happened, of course, and I mean, Miltank switching into a Heracross isn't exactly ideal, but I find out here that I don't know if he has close combat or if he just expected me to switch in Torn there, but I decided to stay in here and just try to get my rocks up because they are going to be pretty detrimental to the rest of the game. It picks off the Celebi, and it can also help me put things in range of Lycanroc, which is a mon that his switch-ins to are starting to get increasingly weaker. So I'm going to switch out my cow here, my Neos Alias, and switch into Wild Cyclone right after Rock Tomb, keep in mind, and he goes for Bulk Up, expecting me to probably stay in, do some shenanigans, and then go from there. So we can make a little bit of a risky play there, but we do get rewarded as Tornadus, my evil hero Wild Cyclone, is capable of coming in for free and catching this Masto on the switch in. With, I think, yeah, I go for Air Slash, then U-turn, that's what it was. And I also do find out that with this Air Slash damage, this is a very specially defensive, Masto. Probably like I'm counting for sand and special defense here. It's probably like it's very specially defensive. So I'm gonna go for a U-turn right here, and I do see from Calc that it doesn't have, if it has bulk investments at all in defense, it's very little, so it's heavily specially defensive. As he goes for the Toxic to start chipping down on the cow known as Neos Alias, because, you know, it has a dream of being something that it's never going to be, and that is the greatness that is Elemental Hero Neos. I'm going to get Leftovers, Toxic, and Sandstorm, all of that shenanigans that is always going to keep on rocking out with, should I say. Because, you know, residual damage is so much fun after every turn, you know, Sand, Leftovers, Toxic, it's a great time in between everything, which I guess gives me time as he here. This is a very weird exchange as he keeps clicking Toxic like a lot, expecting me to go into Suicune or Torn or just trying to get something else chipped. But I guess this little exchange here is a time for me to ask how you guys have been, and I'm really sorry about the inconsistencies, but we're going to be returning. I should be streaming again soon for Duel Links over on Twitch, and you know, we're also going to be bringing back Pokemon content as UBL is here. Week 2 will be up on Sunday, you know, GBA day. I'm not sure if I'm the biggest fan of the upload day, just because of what league it actually interacts with and what games you normally would watch on that day. But I'm coming back with some content here and there, probably not as consistent as I used to be, but I'm still going to be pretty consistent, at least to a certain degree. And I'll be working on my editing and stuff like that to just come back, because I've missed you guys, and I can tell this much from the update from like 2 weeks ago. That girl dumped me, so that was unfortunate. But I finally decide to take some initiative here and click Earthquake. I want to get some damage off as Hera finally decides to get up the Stealth Rocks, which those are also going to be a pain in my butt, because I don't have removal this game anyway, and I have a Robombi on my team. I have I don't really have a lot of resist. Zygarde's already dead, so it's quite unfortunate, if I can say that much. So Masto's going to take a lot of poison damage though, so it's finally getting very weakened, which now it's finally going to switch out and switch into HeraHorde again, the Mega Heracross, which is also getting chipped by the rocks thanks to its bug typing, making sure that it stays at 12.5 despite its fighting typing. But I have Torn on my team, I have Lycanroc on my team, I have Miltank, I have Rabombi, I have Zygarde and Suicune. Zygarde is down already, so all of my mons take 12.5 minimum from rocks. The only one that would be okay with rocks is, like, you know, I didn't really have a safe switch in here to this Heracross either, because I wasn't sure what quite we was going to go for. If I went into Suicune, he could just follow it up with a Bullet Seed. If I went into Lycanroc, he could have also done that, I think. So I decided to sack off my Miltank here to this Mega Heracross, as I do get off the toxic damage, which is going to come into play later, and I'm glad that Miltank managed to do what it did, and Gigalith is going to snag a KO on my Miltank due to the toxic that it inflicted on it so long ago. So I'm going to go into Knosp, aka my Rabombi, as I talked to you guys about earlier, and now you see this is a Life Orb Rabombi, and HeraHorde is going to switch out. I thought about going for Quiver Dance, but I was a little bit too scared of Rock Tomb, so I did just go for a Moonblast straight up, and Hera's build this week was actually surprisingly defensive, like Leftovers, Excadrill, Toxic, Gigalith, Toxic on our bulk up, a very defensive bulk up Heracross. Other mons that he brought to this game, his Celebi was a Scarf variant, of course, but he brought the Vaporeon as well, which was very bulky. And you'll see, like, the only real offensive mon he had on his team was the Haxorus. So Knosp is going to take some poison damage now, because now even the Excadrill is chilling with Toxic. So I go for a Moonblast here, and the reason why I did that was in case he wanted to preserve this thing, switch into something like the Haxorus, I guess, on a prediction, or going into Vaporeon, I'd get more damage off on it. And here I make, not this turn, but next turn, I make a very questionable play. So I know he has Toxic. I know he has Toxic because he used that on my sub. I know he has Ice Beam because he used that on my Zygarde, and I know he has Wish. It's probably, in my eyes, it's unheard of that this thing shouldn't be packing Scald. But in my head, I was like, oh, he's going to protect now, and then he's going to get the health up, so I'd rather just preserve Knosp for like a sack fodder later. But, I mean, there was no point in doing that. I could have just clicked Moonblast here and knocked out this Vaporeon. But instead, I made a foolish switch into my Tornadus, and I'm going to pay the price for it as he clicks Toxic. And now my Tornadus is poisoned, and the Vaporeon is going to go straight back up to like 70% health, which is so unfortunate. This was probably the biggest misplay of the game, because if I didn't make this play, Rabombi would have gone down with Vaporeon. That would have been all fine and dandy. I would have had my Z move left on my Torn, because spoiler alert, I go for knockoff air slash Z move in that order. But if I just knocked out the Vaporeon, I could have had this thing without any sort of issues. Like, my Cyclone would have been completely fine. It would have been a 3 to 4, where I could have dealt with the weakened. Well, I could have dealt with the Shaymin rocks up. I could have dealt with the Gigalith because of my Z move. I could have dealt with the Excadrill, because that would not have been a problem, as I do fire out the all-out pummeling right here. I could have dealt with the Heracross because String like Torn was my win con here, and I played it incredibly poorly because I was so sure he was going to go for Protect. So I could have gone in, like, I could have gone back into like U-turn and swapped out and stuff, but I made a foolish play and I'm going to pay for it. So Aquarius just goes diving into the wall, and with that, Torn picks up a kill. So that's actually really nice though, I appreciate it. But now Wild Cycle is at 26 HP, and it was all thanks to my foolish play. And due to Sand, because this thing is especially defensive, Focus Blast does not kill from here. And Hera here makes an absolutely fantastic play that I should have considered. I should have just hard swapped out here, but I just thought U-turn because my mind was getting so clouded and frustrated with how I let the Vaporeon live. So Miltank picks up a KO by knocking out Celebi with the rocks, and now my Torn is going to go down to the Toxic inflicted by the Vaporeon, so Vaporeon gets a revenge kill right before death, or right after death. But I can go into Rottweiler now, my good boy, as Hera goes into the under-tiered Haxorus, there you go, and I'm just chilling here, you know, with my doggo. I know he's not Scarf because of the rocks damage. I noted that though. I noted the rocks damage. I know I'm faster than him. Stone Edge has a 6.3% chance. If it was no HP, it was a 12.5, but he had 12 HP, so it was a 6.3% chance to knock him out, and he did survive. And I thought about switching into Rabombi here, trying to get that extra sand damage on him, but I couldn't risk the DD, so what's gonna happen now is so unfortunate because of what happened, right? And with the damage, Gigalith's gonna get this kill. Gigalith stole my kill on HERDIERS with the sand, and that's just such a damn shame, and it pisses me off. So HeraHorde comes in here, it's poison, you know I take rocks damage before it, so I know I'm faster. The pressure is exerting, and then HeraHorde takes that poison, or takes the rocks damage. I'm gonna go for protect, just trying to get that toxic damage, because if I can get him in range of Scald, I can still somewhat salvage this game, as his last Pokemon after this is the Gigalith. I'm pretty sure it's the HeraHorde and the Gigalith, right? I believe so. Could be the no, the Excadrill's dead. Excadrill died to the Ribombee. So I believe, if we can look at the remaining mons after all this status, yikes, I don't remember all of it. But if I can get a roll here, yeah, as you can see, if I can get the roll here, I can in fact win this game, but I do not get the roll. And because of this, ladies and gentlemen, because of this, Bullet Seed is going to knock out my Suicune, so HeraHorde is going to pick up another KO here on my Suicune, sadly. And, well, it's kind of unfortunate, but what's more unfortunate is the fact that, well, Sandstorm here, Gigalith is going to steal another kill from me. Freaking Gigalith, man, he came in here twice and stole my kills, but at this one, it lowered differential, but if I got the roll, it wouldn't have mattered, and then I could have killed this thing with Suicune, so I could have won 2-0, but I didn't get the roll, and I misplayed a lot with Torn, so Hera does beat us in the UBL week 1, but we're definitely not out of it. A bit of an unfortunate week 1, but we'll be back next week as we take on SareneGrace, coach of the Chicago SHAYMIN-SKY. But we do accept this 1-0 loss to Ricky. I'll be back for this though. I know where I misplayed, I know what I did wrong. Hera was kind of sick, well, I think he pulled a tooth or something like that. His tooth was hurting. But with that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed week 1. I'm back. Likes, comments, subscribe, and all that stuff. We'll see some Duel Links content soon as well. And with that being said, I will talk to all of you wonderful people in the next video. So, this has been Dan, signing out. Bye-bye.